Hey everyone, we are here for round number one. Unfortunately, I'm on the draw, and this hand is really bad, but I don't know. They can't all be winners, so we'll go ahead and mulligan a 6 and see what we got there. Yes, this 6 is certainly acceptable. We have a turn 2 dealer, maybe a turn 3 herald if we draw an untapped land, and then we can follow it up with an ascendancy, so I'm definitely happy with this 6. Hopefully it pans out. Mystic Monastery. Okay, so we're dealing with some sort of. All right, so we drew the untapped land, so that's pretty sweet. We're gonna be able to play Dealer on 2, hopefully Herald on 3, Ascendancy on 4. Seeker the way? Yeah. All right, our opponent's on some form of Jeskai. There's a lot of different Jeskai decks right now, so it's not 100%. This could be the like Mantis Rider version. Could also be the like Jeskai Heroic deck that won the last Open. I guess there's a lot of options in this regard, but for us, we're just jamming Death Dealer. And I think I should have led with maybe Temple of Malady over Sandstep. I decided to lead with Sandstep because I didn't know exactly what I was looking for yet, but we could play the Malady into Urborg into Windswept Heath for Plains and effectively have all our mana sources the same way. So. This is probably like a removal spell here and then hit me for 3. Yeah. I mean, that's not great for us, but it's not terrible either. It's probably better than a Mantis Rider, to be honest. Next turn I can just play the Herald, and the turn after I can either play Ascendancy or Charm, depending on what happens, so. Okay. Never mind. Anafenza is just a significantly better draw. Let's go ahead and get a... Since I have this, I'm going to get a Plains. One neat little trick about Magic Online is if you hold down M with an Urborg in play, it will tap every land for the mana that, like the first mana on the list. So this would tap for white, this taps for black, this taps for white. So, just a neat little trick to make it easier to cast spells with Urborg. Is this a Stoke the Flames? I'll be very unhappy if this is a Stoke the Flames. Yeah, it's Stoke the Flames. That's super annoying. Oh, why can't you just let me untap with a creature? Alright, hopefully this Herald sticks. Dealer. So I'm gonna play the Herald first. Next turn I can maybe play Dealer plus Ascendancy, depending on what I draw. Let's go ahead and scry and see what we're looking at. Okay, so there's a land. Now, I think I'm okay with this land because I can do exactly what I just said and play Dealer plus Ascendancy or Dealer plus Abzan Charm next turn. At the same time, I don't want to draw too many more lands, so I'm going to put it on top, though. And hopefully that doesn't end up being a giant mistake. If he just ascends here, I'm going to block. Like, I'm willing to make a trade here if that's offered. I mean, I'm at a low life total, and this is going to deal me a damage every single turn. Or if, like, he just plays a Mantis Rider or something. It's really unfortunate that I just had Magma Jet into Stoke exactly to kill my two guys. Very unfortunate. I would have even preferred like a Jeskai Charm on Anafenza. Could have just recast it the next turn. Alright, well, we do get to play Dealer plus Ascendancy next turn, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so I can go green, black, and then I can go green, white, and then black from Urborg. I don't have to take any damage to do this. So now anytime this creature or any of my future creatures die, I'm at least gonna get a spirit out of the mix. So that's pretty nice. I feel like my opponent should be out of cards, but he still has 3 cards. Just so much removal. Rabble Master. If he attacks with both Seeker and the Goblin, I will block the Seeker. And I'm gonna block here. If there's like a Magma Jet or something, that's fine. I kind of want to draw 2, but I feel like that's super greedy. I think it's probably better to save this to just kill one of these creatures, depending on what happens. So we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. He could have Magma Jetted and killed my Death Dealer last turn, and just choosing to hit me instead, so that's pretty scary. Looks like one card is going bottom, the other card is still up in the air. On top, okay, so we have to deal with whatever the card that was put on top is. Hopefully it's not another Rabble Master. Sarkin. Okay. Alright, hopefully he just turns Sarkin into a creature. Perfect. Glad I saved this Abzan charm. Alright, so let's go ahead and exile this Sarkin. Black, white, green. Now I'm gonna block and eat the Rabble Master. Just make sure I don't mess up on Magic Online, messing up my phases. I'm gonna eat the Rabble Master here, and now I'm gonna take 4 down to 4. So I'm still not in a great position, but at least I have outs here. So let's go ahead and just regenerate. And I'm gonna use Urborg because I don't take any damage. So now I'm dead to Lightning Strike or Stoke without, unless I draw something, which I didn't. Just go ahead and pass the turn. I don't want to. I don't want to just play this and give my opponent information that I'm dead. Alright, probably has a Lightning Strike. Or a Stoke. Okay. Alright, that was kind of a frustrating game. I don't feel like we could have done a whole lot there, but that's how it breaks. So let's go ahead and sideboard here. I want the downfall. I want a fifth way to kill Mantis Rider. I don't really like Herald in this matchup, so I want to cut the Heralds. And I think I want... I kind of like Sorin here. I think Sorin's actually kind of good against Jeskai. Any kind of aggressive deck, I really like Sorin, so we'll bring in the Sorins, and I don't think Heir of the Wilds is that great. I'd rather have Seeker the Way. So let's bring in Seekers and cut the Heirs. I'm not sure. Ascendancy was kind of unimpressive that game, but we were also on the draw and kind of just got wrecked. So I will keep the Ascendancies and hopefully they work out pretty well. Actually, I'll trim one and bring one Heir back in. I don't like Despise because that deck has way too many spells. I mean, it can get Sarkin, but still, that deck has way too many spells. So I do want to play a 2-drop on turn 2 though every game pretty much. So we'll try this out. See how this works out for us. I think being on the play is going to make a huge difference. If we were on the play that game, it would have looked very differently because that Seeker of the Way, either they would have played the Seeker of the Way and we would have had a chance to drop our Ascendancy with a creature in play and really gum up the ground, or that Seeker of the Way, just all those removal spells would have just killed our creatures without Seeker of the Way in play. So definitely winning the die roll is definitely very important in Standard, unfortunately. So hopefully we can win game 2 and then break serve game 3 on the draw. Thoughtseize is really good at breaking serve for what it's worth. Bioblight's also pretty good at breaking serve, which I don't have on my 75, which that may actually be a mistake because of matchups like this where Bioblight's great. Alright. Snapkeep. This hand's great. So my plan with this hand is I don't get to play dealer till 3. I'm gonna go like Citadel on 1, and then on the second turn, well, I could also play dealer on 2, but I kind of prefer dealer on 3 and Rhino on 4. Oh, yeah, we'll still do that. I'm gonna Thoughtseize here first. Alright. Okay. Wow, is that... I feel like my opponent should have 7 cards. I guess they only have 6 cards in hand. Do they mulligan? Okay, my opponent mulligan is 6. Okay. Well, yeah, this hand is pretty sweet. It's a Forge, a Mountain, a Plains, and 2 Shivan. Alright, now that we know that their hand has no action in it at all, I think I'm content to scry. Because I know I don't want any more Thoughtseizes. And I definitely want threats, so we will keep that on top of the library. And I like playing Lion here as opposed to Death Dealer next turn. I'd rather the Lion die. We can play this Death Dealer with like a lot of mana up later in the game. and it'll do a lot of damage. So, alright, so that's the plains. Let's go ahead and just jam this fresh lion out there. And it didn't die to whatever can kill it with. I don't know if there's anything. Alright, still nothing going on there. This was a great draw. This gives us insurance here against, like, you know, him having drawn like multiple Mantis Riders or something. So we'll go and crash in. Also, if he has like a lightning strike here, we could just charm our guy. And now it's time for the Rhino. Alright, so I'll be surprised if we don't win this game. But this was kind of a dud game where our opponent had a really bad hand and we had like the nuts to punish it. So hopefully we'll have a good game 3. The first game was actually a good game. I mean, we were really far behind the entire game, but alright, well, maybe it's not over yet. I am just going to monstrous this lion next turn. I think that a monstrous lion is going to be very difficult for my opponent to beat. So I think that that's just better than playing these random dudes. Okay. In fact, it was impossible for my opponent to beat. Alright, so now we're on the draw again. I have to decide. So there's a Brimaz in there, which is kind of an extra creature that's not normal. So I think on the draw, I want to actually cut all the Ascendancies. I think that they're just a lot better on the play. And on the draw, they're just much worse. And I think I want to try the Despises. Now that we saw Brimaz, so there's like Rabblemaster, Brimaz, probably Mantis Rider, Sarkin, Seeker of the Way. Maybe Despise is wrong. I'm gonna try it though. I want to be leaner to the ground. It's also a spell for Seeker, so we'll run this. But I just feel like my best chance of winning on the draw is to just have a very low curve. We have the Despise. Okay, so I guess we'll find out how good it actually is. I'll keep this hand even though it's not the most exciting. These come to play tap lands are brutal. So I could like Despise on turn 1, but that just doesn't accomplish anything. Okay, we drew a land. That's pretty sweet. So here I could play one of these, which leaves me very vulnerable to like a removal spell followed by untap Rabblemaster or untap Mantis Rider. So I actually think firing off this Despise is our best play. And then next turn I can either play Anafenza or Charm. So let's go ahead and fire off the Despise. And I want to take the 3-drop in the hand. Whew, of which there are many. That hand is... Jeez, okay. Alright, well we can't take a Banishing Light. So there's Banishing Light, Jeskai Charm, Stoke, and then Rider, Brimaz, and Ashcloud Phoenix. Alright, so my opponent's mana base is conducive to casting any of these. He can cast all three of these creatures. I have Abzan Charm, which I would like to kill Ashcloud Phoenix with. So, and I can also use Sorin with against Ashcloud Phoenix. So I definitely am not taking Ashcloud Phoenix. Also, note that only 2 lands, doesn't have a third land yet. In this situation, if my opponent couldn't cast any of these, if there was a creature here that like couldn't be cast depending on what the land drawn was, I would just take that. But any of these three can be cast. But Mantis Rider is by far the most scary because I can Abzan Charm Brimaz and then play Sorin against Ashcloud Phoenix, which I know that Ashcloud Phoenix is still. These cards are still all going to be very good against me, but Mantis Rider is just the most scary here because I take a hit for 3. And with Brimaz, I have like ground creatures that can brick the Brimaz. Even though my opponent has removal spells to clear the way, that's still something that can happen. So let's take the Mantis Rider and just hope my opponent doesn't draw a land. Alright, don't draw a land. Yes, alright, didn't draw a land. So they also didn't have Siege Rhino. Wow, that's great too. So there was a Jeskai Charm, a Banishing Light, and a Stoke. All the removal spells kill Anafenza, but I still just want to get my best creature out there. So, had to take 2 points of pain to do it, but this puts our opponent on the defensive. Like now, just casting Brimaz off of a land isn't that great. Okay, no land again. Alright, we're getting pretty fortunate here. And I want to just play the air. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I want to play the Death Dealer. No, I think I want to play the air because I don't want to have to invest. Like I'm not going to invest mana into Death Dealer next turn anyways, most likely. So I'd rather just have the creature out here that I don't have to invest mana into. Alright, well, my opponent drew the land, but a little late. Probably. We drew a Thoughtseizer's pretty good. I mean, I'm going to drop down to 14 life this turn, so there is some fear there. Because I'm going to Thoughtseize plus take 2 pain to cast Death Dealer. Let's go ahead and attack first. And I get Ferocious, and I get to put a counter on this, though, so pretty strong. Now let's fire off this Thoughtseize. Well, Despise ended up being pretty good, actually. Okay, alright, let's see. Brimaz is probably the worst option here, and Ashcloud Phoenix are the 2 worst options because I have the Abzan Charm. So I'm hoping my opponent plays either of those. So it's either the Banishing Light or the Jeskai Charm. Jeskai Charm deals my opponent a point of damage to cast. So, but I don't, also in the same token, I don't want my opponent to make me redraw any of this stuff because I want to be able to cast Rhino. So I'm going to take the Charm, and I think I'm okay with Banishing Light coming down, so yeah, let's go ahead and take the Charm and write this down. So there's a Phoenix, a Brimaz, a Dig, a God's Willing, a Stoke, and a Banishing Light. We'll take Jeskai Charm. And then I'll play this Death Dealer. So I'm pretty sure my opponent just can't win here, but in fact, actually, these two are any 2 creatures are lethal here. Yep, that was, yeah, any 2 creatures are lethal. So. Alright, well that was kind of an anticlimactic game 3 where our opponent bricked on the land and we were able to win. I definitely felt like I learned something though, like Ascendancy, probably good on the play, bad on the draw in this matchup where they have a lot of removal because they can kill your guys before you cast the Ascendancy. and that makes the Ascendancy really bad. But if you're on the play, you're like a step ahead. You get to cast the Ascendancy before they can kill all your guys. It really changes the dynamic a lot. Um, Other than that, yeah, it was just a standard Abzan versus Jeskai kind of matchup. We got a little bit lucky, but sometimes you gotta get lucky to win. So I hope you'll stick around for round number 2, which is coming up next.